I've long said the Tone King Imperial Tri-Tube preamp is one of my favorite amps, and now it has a new firmware. But to understand the firmware, you kind of have to understand how the Tone King Imperial works. So I tried to show a bit of how it works in the opening, because there's a lot going on under the hood. It's not just a typical 2-channel preamp. I've got the guitar going to the Imperial preamp. I threw on that Ego 76 Mini and I was like, I never wanted to turn it off. So I'll turn it off in the beginning, but I'm gonna turn it back on. Anyway, we hit the Imperial Tri-Tube 3-tube preamp. It's going out direct from that preamp. There is a digital back end with power amp simulation and IRs available, and we'll get more to the IRs in a bit. But you've got XLRs coming out of the Imperial preamp, and it sounds great. I'm using 412 IRs because I like 412s. The rhythm channel will take you from cleans to more tubey breakup stuff. Now, if you want more breakup, you just go over here. You go over to the lead channel, and you get lead tones. Kind of more of the tweed or dumble-ish variety. Now you're going, where'd that reverb come from, dude? The Imperial has built-in reverb and tremolo. You could assign it. You heard it wasn't on the rhythm channel. I had it assigned to the lead. You could assign it to either or both or neither. And then I'm going to turn on the tremolo as well. Super vibey and in stereo. So who doesn't love stereo effects built in? Lovely. And there's a stereo effects loop. Let's turn on the stereo effects loop, and you'll hear definitely that this is in stereo. I have it turned up really loud. I want you to hear that it's in stereo, because more on that in a bit. So this is the coolest thing. The Imperial lets you route another amp through it. I have the Friedman IRX, which is a perfect candidate because there's no load box to worry about, but you can use like Soldano Astro. Has a built-in load box, makes it a perfect candidate for this direct recording. But here's what's crazy. All you need is an effects loop. You can route the Imperial as your clean channel. And even more crazy, you'll get the reverb and the tremolo, and it could go on your other amp through the speakers, and you could use the direct outs. I mean, the routing is bonkers in terms of functionality, and it's bonkers that it's so simple to set up because they intelligently wrote things like to your amp return, from your amp send to the amp input. It's really easy to plug things in. Now, surely it's going to be a complicated scenario to get over to that amp in the middle of a gig, right? No, you just hit bypass, which sends you over to your other amp. Oh, and I have that tremolo assigned. I'm not going to want the tremolo on this. In fact, I'm not going to want the reverb on that either. I do want the delay that is plugged in through the Imperial. You see how it just pulls everything together into its ecosystem, and I haven't touched MIDI. This is all happening in the Imperial preamp. All the routing, super simple, super logical. It's brilliant and it sounds great. So, I mean, what else do you want? Now, you check out the editor, which has been up behind me, and that has all of the switchable parameters. You can use MIDI. You could just put this under a secret little box. No one will know why you have such good tone. And you could switch everything from your MIDI controller. Now again, this is a tube preamp, so it doesn't switch the gain levels and or anything that would be the knobs on the amp, because that's an amp. But everything, once you hit the back end, is all MIDI controllable, and there are a bunch of new features here. I could have used one of the internal IRs, which all sound great. I chose to load my own IRs in there, and it's super simple. You click that folder icon, and then you go to your desktop, and you just say that's the IR, and it goes in. Now you have 3 selectable per channel from the front panel on each channel. So you get 6 total, right? Now what about this other amp? Now that's one of the new firmware updates. Let's go. The new selectable IR on bypass. I love this. This is great. So now you get to pick which IR you want as the amp. It's called bypass, but it's the external amp, right? You see the dot, the foot switch, and it just bypasses it. It goes woo around. So now again, I could assign all of my channels and amps to the same IR, or I could customize and do a different IR for every channel. So check it out. The rhythm channel, I installed one of mine. I go over to the lead using a great sounding 412 that is built in, and I go to the IRX, and it is using a different one of mine. That's the one that has the bypass snail icon attached to it. So much versatility in being able to fully control which channel gets which IR. Firmware update feature number 2. Check this out. Now we have a low cut option. That's lovely. The Imperial, it is a big bottomed beast. Love it. And sometimes you just want to cut some of that back. You know, that's okay too. Okay, I've cranked up the gain on the rhythm channel and we're going through a 112. It's got a nice big full sound. Now there already was a high frequency compensation control that is found on the amp of the Imperial. Kind of reduces the harsher high frequencies. I'm going to leave it open. I like that extra little sparkly clarity. I like it even more when I turn my volume back up. Now, if you want more control, there already was the high cut filter. That's the one that sort of shelves off the highs. You can see it there on the icon. 3 settings for each of them, by the way. Like a little boomy. The top and mid is good, but it's like an earthquake of like a bass amp almost. Cutting as much as I can with the new control. It's a bit much for my taste. Let's go in the middle. That's really nice. I'm gonna go back to the 10 and 2 settings, which is where I leave the rhythm channel all the time anyway. This is a welcome control that allows you to further contour your sound in so many ways. This is all recallable with MIDI, or you could save it per channel that you're using on the Imperial. Feature number 3 requires a little explanation. Now I have rerouted everything, and I have the Soldano Astro 20 in the amp loop of the Imperial. This is the rhythm channel of the Imperial. you're hearing that direct, but I want to show you I'm also recording this 412 cap, and this is what that sounds like with everything routing back through the Astro's power amp through the 412. Like I said before, it's a clever routing system, very easy to set up, but gives you so much flexibility. Now, easily, we'll just switch over to the Astro head. And you hear it's using the Imperial's reverb. So I'm going to turn that off and kick back on the delay. Again, we have a direct recording of it from the outputs from the Imperial. And we have a recording from the 412. So the feature involves the stereo-ness. When you hear it direct, of course, you hear the stereo delay. But the amp is mono, so what happens to those stereo effects? In the past, you'd get one side, but now it automatically sums them and adjusts for that volume and monoizes your stereo effects. So you don't have to deal with that. You'll get both taps of the echo, the left and the right, but they're coming in mono. And you'll get the stereo version of that through the direct output of the Imperial. Feature number 4 also involves stereo and mono. There's a new mono switch on our software. Why would I want to go mono when I got stereo? I mean, what if you just run mono? And this allows you to have the exact same signal coming out of your XLR left and XLR right. So you can send one to your stage monitor setup, and you could send another to the mixing console guy, and then there's still a bunch of other ways to route. So it's really bonkers, but this adds that flexibility for the different kind of players with different kind of setups, and the Imperial allows you to have many different setups. It's the preamp for everyone. That's 4 feature updates with the Tone King Imperial Firmware 5. Download it. That's it. And I guess if you don't have a Tone King, you better get one, because you don't want to miss out on firmware updates, right? All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.